Pure air is only of importance to those people that have trouble breathing. And according to Hardin's law, you can never only do one thing. So in our quest for energy savings, we have tightened up the building envelopes to the extent where we, in many cases, have trapped pollutants in that indoor air to a level that's many times higher than outdoor air. Let's see. The pathologies of those people with respiratory issues are outlined here. Many people are very familiar with these through friends or relatives. The germ theory would have it, of course, that contagion is dependent on concentration of pathogens in the air, but that's been largely discredited. Not everybody dies in a flu epidemic. There are a lot of other factors involved too, but there is little doubt that reducing the concentrations of pathogens in the air is beneficial, especially to those that are immunologically suppressed or otherwise having difficulties breathing. There are many technologies that are brought to bear on air purification. Again, most people are familiar with many of these. Filtration, of course, is one of the first and better approaches. The great irony is the more plugged a filter becomes, the better filter it is. And, but it does prevent airflow when it does become too constricted. Chemabsorption is very good for removing volatile organic compounds from air through activated charcoal or carbon, and or those adsorbents loaded with, say, potassium permanganate or some other chemical that's useful in removing volatile organic chemicals from the air. Ionization has had very limited success, and I'll give you some references at the end of this that can guide you to, say, Wikipedia and other sources that have addressing the efficacy of these various approaches. Ozone is a respiratory irritant largely banned by Health Canada and other health-related organizations. Chlorine dioxide is a chlorine analog of ozone, ClO2. It's been found to be very useful in decontaminating water-damaged libraries where it's difficult to get between the pages of books on a large scale. But gas works very well at very low concentrations that are not harmful to humans. UV light has been used in hospital applications for many decades. The mercury line of fluorescent lamps have proven to be germicidal and are very effective in denaturing or killing bacteria in the air. One approach to the use of UVGI in a residential or home setting is to put a UV lamp in the air duct of your furnace. And certainly asthmatics have found that to be very beneficial in this particular province. Calgary, as some of you may know, is the asthma capital of Canada. We have a lot of asthmatics here. Whoops, let me get back this one. Photocatalysis is an area that is one of the newer components of air purification technology. Wikipedia gives very short service to the discussion of that. One of the problems with photocatalysis is getting a large enough active surface area that's illuminated by the light to be truly effective. Many air purification systems that represent that they are photocatalytic are minimally photocatalytic to the extent that they need to include chemabsorption and other components of the system to compensate for the deficiency of the photocatalytic reactor. All right. So the implementation challenge in bringing together many of these technologies is to combine filtration, germicidal UV irradiation, photocatalysis, fan, variable speed fan, quiet operation in a unit that's safe and effective. We have endeavored to do that in a commercial product that is shown to the right here. It's a tabletop unit, roughly 15 inches high, and contains 2 germicidal UV lamps inside. You can see the blue visible glow in through the upper louvers where the air comes in. So what we are endeavoring to do with a unit like this is to take that relatively clean outside air with a few additives to the outside air and bring that air into the house and clean it up. There are some of the previous talks address the issue of photocatalysis and the photoelectric effect of light shining on a photocatalyst. The photocatalyst in this case is titanium dioxide, the anatase crystal morphology of that. The light shining on the photocatalytic surface liberates an electron and leaving behind a positive hole at the surface of the photocatalyst. Those 2 events permit both reduction and oxidation of passing contaminant air molecules and breaks down volatile organic compounds into carbon dioxide and water, the reverse of photosynthesis. Unfortunately, this diagram is from the patent application that we have underway. Just to outline a few of the elements, there are 2 UV lamps in the center cavity of this device. There are pre-filters where the air first comes in from the side. These inlet louvers here, the air comes in through the pre-filter, through this photocatalytic element here that's illuminated from the inside by the UV lamps. So that the particulates get removed by the pre-filter, which has a MERV 14 rating, which doesn't mean much to anybody here, I'm sure, but it's an HVAC term that applies to the minimum efficiency rating value, which relates to the capacity to remove particulates. A MERV 14 rating implies that you are removing roughly 85% of the particulates that are 1 micron in size or larger. What that does is keeps the photocatalyst element clean so that it will last for the life of the unit, which is 5+ years. Where does the nano come in? Well, what makes the unit effective photocatalytically is that we have a very large effective photocatalytic area that's created by a quartz fiber mass. These fibers are a scanning electron micrograph representation of what's inside. The fibers are an average of 9 microns in diameter and very long, very high purity quartz, which is conductive of UV light. So we have a fiber optic distribution of the UV through the mass of fibers. And again, over here, we have a much larger view of a single fiber, the broken end of a single fiber, with the photocatalytic coating on the surface. That coating, in this particular case, is quite thick. We can make it under 10 nanometers thick by applying a precursor to titanium dioxide, what's called peroxotitanic acid, which is not photocatalytically active in its own right, but once it's applied to the surface and baked to about 300 to 500 degrees C, reverts to titanium dioxide, the anatase crystal morphology of that, which is photocatalytically active. So, for those that are interested in air purification, as I say, Wikipedia does a very credible job of discussing the various alternative approaches. We have a very practical reference through J. Allen Rogers, who on his own is sharing the wisdom of his own searches with the general public. Many devices make outrageous claims and simply don't work. Other devices are more effective. We are actively pursuing a laboratory testing program with biochem laboratories in Calgary to confirm the claims that we in fact make. So thank you very much. We'll take any questions.